Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to make a ministerial statement on dredging and engineering works on major rivers and creeks in Fiji to control flooding and obtain low-value minerals, iron ore, for construction works. The Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Deputy Prime Ministers, Honourable Leader of Opposition, Honourable Cabinet Ministers, Honourable Members of Parliament. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Speaker, sir, our waterways are a major source of livelihood for our people. However, they also often cause hazards to our people during periods of extreme weather conditions. In particular, during increased rainfall periods, sediments and silt are washed into rivers and creeks, which leads to flooding in low-lying areas. Our communities are exposed to these flooding events on an annual basis, and it is a challenge that requires addressing most effectively and efficiently at all times. The irony of it all, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that we as a nation have to prepare ourselves for nature's onslaught in the form of natural disasters like floods, etc. every year, regardless of whether we like it or not. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Department of Waterways is committed to providing a safe and secure environment from flooding through the desilting, dredging, and river engineering works of major river systems in Fiji. The Department has already undertaken many activities to address these crucial issues and will continue to do so in this financial year. We have many rivers and creeks to be looked after, and this becomes important prior to the rainy season. Mr. Speaker, at the end of the 2021-2022 financial year, a total of 41,870 meters of drains were desilted. 15,911 meters of creek were desilted in the central, western and northern divisions, while 400 meters of new drains were excavated in the western division with an estimated investment of close to $500,000. For non-municipal area drainage, a total of 95 drainage schemes have benefited from this initiative, with a total cost of more than $180,000. Further to the 2021-2022 financial year, a total of 165,828 meters of farm drains were desilted, while 27,197 meters of creek were desilted, benefiting a total of 72 communities in the central, western and northern divisions with an investment close to $500,000. Mr. Speaker, sir, for the current financial year, the Department of Waterways has committed $3 million for the dredging of the Mba River Mouth Channel, the Lambasa River Mouth Channel, and the Environment Impact Assessment for the Nandi River diversion near Wusania village in the province of Mba. From the dredging works, a large number of communities in the Greater Mba and Lambasa areas are expected to benefit from this project. Additionally, the Department has allocated $200,000 for the National Waterways Program, which involves surveying and flood mapping exercise of 5 major river systems, including the Rewa, Mba, Singatoka, Nandi, and Nabua rivers. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Department of Waterways has committed $3.8 million for contractors to carry out riverbank protection of the following villages. Matai Northern Village in Tailevu, Bualamani Village in the province of Bua, Matani Sivaro Settlement near Ngawi River, Wainimakutu Village in Namosi, Wadi Village in Lakamba, the Upper Singatoka River, and Naivilada Village in Northern. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Department of Waterways is currently in the process of formulating a memorandum of agreement between the government stakeholders to be tabled to Cabinet for approval. And the stakeholders include the Department of Environment, the Ministry of Lands and Mineral Resources, the Ministry of the Tauke Affairs and the Tauke Land Trust Board on a program called Public-Private Partnership, Emergency Desilting of Rivers and Creeks. Mr. Speaker, sir, this program will look after the desilting and dredging works of more than 130 identified rivers and creeks around Fiji. Government stakeholders will facilitate all necessary approvals and permits on behalf of the private contractors who will be carrying out the flood mitigation work on the ground. To recover costs, the private contractors will sell the dredged spoils to construction companies and authorities. Mr. Speaker, the desilting of rivers and creeks will benefit our communities in many ways. It will reduce flooding events, as well as ensuring the protection of livelihoods and infrastructure. Since the rivers and creeks are an integral part of our ecosystems, they need to be restored and maintained. The risk of flooding is predicted to be high in the future due to the modification of the environment from development activities. Therefore, the Department is monitoring these activities and implementing mitigation strategies to reduce those risks. Mr. Speaker, sir, to assist with the current waterways programs and to further assist stakeholders as the sugar and other non-sugar areas, we need to re-establish the Drainage Board. I had alluded to this during my maiden speech in this August House, and to enable this to happen, we will need to review the current Drainage Act of 1961. To date, we have made a submission to Cabinet, and that submission has since been approved. The Drainage Act for Fiji was enacted in 1961, which is quite archaic and does not meet our current needs for the development of the agriculture sector. The Act provides for the declaration of drainage areas, authorizes the execution of drainage works, and provides for the establishment of drainage boards for the maintenance and improvement of certain drainage areas. However, due to certain amendments, some of those powers have changed. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the past, 3 drainage boards were set up in the 3 divisions. That is the Central, Northern and Western Division. The Central Division Drainage Board comprised of 40 drainage schemes covering an area of 10,428 hectares. In the Western Division Drainage Board comprised of 40 drainage schemes covering an area of 247,000 hectares, and the Northern Division Drainage Board comprised of 20 drainage schemes covering an area of 211,000 hectares. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the past, drainage subsidy funds through the grant they were budgeted for and provided to the 3 drainage boards through the then Land and Water Resource Management Division to administer and undertake the following. 1. Drainage improvement works of the existing drainage schemes and waterlogged areas. 2. Drainage infrastructure development, maintenance and rehabilitation within our drainage scheme programs. These include the establishment of seawalls and outfall structures such as floodgates and floodgates to reduce saltwater intrusion into farming areas. Mr. Speaker, sir, previously the main purpose of the drainage improvement works within the drainage schemes was to clear waterlogged areas and reduce the impacts of flooding. Our situation now, in addition to drainage, is to look at irrigation to improve farming areas, as well as the use of nature-based interventions for the restoration and maintenance of watershed areas in Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, the review of the current Drainage Act of 1961 will enable us to re-establish the drainage boards and ease the workload for the Waterways Division under the Ministry of Agriculture. This will also outline the scope of work to be covered by the Drainage Board and other stakeholders, and it will provide the necessary legal powers for the Drainage Board and the Waterways Division to carry out their work effectively. Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to deliver this statement. Naka.
Thank you.